Welcome back, folks, here on the Believe in FCS Football podcast. I'm opening today because Sean and I both opened on the Tuesday show, so it is.
What happened? My mic was muted. I did a whole open.
Oh, stop it!
This is my day to open.
Is
You're
that
hijacking me? You're hijacking me for the open.
Questionable.
Just take it. You got it. Go ahead. Sorry to stall you, I guess.
Who hijacked your lights?
Okay. Fair point.
So today, folks, we're going to be previewing a key matchup this week, which is JMU versus Weber State. We're also going to be doing FC Estimates, which is everybody's favorite football pick'em segment for FCS football. I'm Joe DeLeone with my acquaintance, Sean Anderson, who is also known as Batman.
For acquaintance.
Former roommate and teammate and good friend, Mr. Sean Anderson.
There we go.
Sean, how are you doing in the dark on this fine evening?
Well, I thrive in the dark. I like overcast days. I like it. Definitely in the dark, but for video purposes, trust me, I'm not thrilled about my situation right now. Normally, we record during the daytime where I have optimal light in my room, but the way that my situation is set up, the light in my room is almost as detrimental, if not more detrimental, than the lights being off and me recording by candlelight.
Yeah, it's either pitch black and the occasional shimmer from the candle. The candle was good last episode, but now it's starting to fade a little bit. But it's either pitch black or pure white because of the glare from the light in your room. So no, there's no positive decision there. So, Sean, we got a lot to talk about today. Some good stuff to talk about. Can you quickly share with our listeners a note from our sponsor, BetOnline?
Sure. Well, since me and Joe are already 2 weeks in to recapping the FCS football season, you know what that means? We're back and better than ever, especially with football. All eyes are on the gridiron as teams are back on to start another football season. I'm rolling. Joe's rolling. We're ready for FCS football this weekend. We're ready for NFL this weekend. As always, BetOnline is your number one spot for all the pro and college football action this season. With a new updated website and interface, even more odds, props, and contests, BetOnline continues to be the number one source for everything football. And Joe and I, we sure do love ourselves some football. And we hope that you do too, especially if you're listening to this, and not just because of our personalities and how we interact with each other. We do have some semblance of knowledge about the sport of football. Head to the website or use your mobile device to sign up today to receive your 100% welcome bonus. That's double your initial deposit just for starting up. Don't forget to use promo code NFL100. That's NFL, the number 100. BetOnline, the fastest and easiest way to bet all your favorite sports. BetOnline, your online sportsbook experts.
Thank you, Sean. And that semblance, very small.
You don't have to thank me. It's my job.
What?
I'm pulling a Max Scherzer on you. Don't touch me, Dave Martinez.
So when are you getting traded?
Dave Roberts. Pardon me, two Daves. I get them confused.
Same thing.
I shouldn't. I stink.
Sean, the one game that we're really keyed on this week, James Madison versus Weber State. This one has primetime football written all over it. And I know the game that we talked about last week ended up being stupidly wild between Missouri State and Central Arkansas. Also, Big Brain over here picked Missouri State, so take that. That game was wild, but this one is between two teams that likely the winner, this will help them push themselves into that top three, or maybe even top one conversation. And then, even regardless of what happens, both of these programs will be competing for the playoffs. Sean, this James Madison team is something that we're already pretty familiar with. They've dominated the two teams that they've already played. 68-10 over Moorhead, 55-7 over Maine. Weber, on the other hand, one loss to Utah, which is a ranked team, 40-17, and then they beat up on Dixie State, 41-3. And I believe you also have some other key stats that can help illustrate this game a little bit more.
I do, yes. And Weber State stats in this department after playing Utah, they're not going to be as valuable, but they are definitely a little more, since playing Utah, they're a little more skewed than James Madison, whose their stats incredibly skewed simply because they're James Madison. They are just dominating so far this season. They're outscoring their opponents by a total of 123 points for JMU, and opponents have only scored 17 points against them. I mean, the rushing stats, this team knows how to run the ball. We've seen it. They are just one of the best at it. They have 502 rushing yards through 2 games. Joe, my math isn't that great. I was a comm major, but 500 divided by 2, I believe that's almost 250 yards a game, if not 251. That's pretty.
I was going to say 500, so yeah, your math sounds more correct than mine.
That's pretty good right there. Even more importantly, they're holding their opponents to 128 yards over 2 games combined. That's what they're doing.
Jeez.
They are dominant running the ball and stopping the run. Their touchdown to given up touchdown is 4 touchdowns for JMU, 1 for opponents. And passing, it's about the same story. JMU is passing for an average of 360 yards over 2 games. Opponents 186 per 2 games. Get the hell out of here, Mr. Mosquito. And JMU has 10 touchdowns passing over 2 games. 1 touchdown given up over 2 games. So if you thought their run defense was good, their pass defense is even better, given that you only got 1 passing touchdown in 2 games. And it's only 2 games. Normally, the team stats, which is what I like to focus on when it comes to the preview episodes, they become a little more impactful around week, what do you say, week 4? Probably week 4, they're really impactful because you just have a little more semblance of what the averages are going to be for the rest of the year. But they are just absolutely dominating, and especially over another CAA opponent, Maine, who, as we know, when they're faced up with a challenge, probably pretty good. I mean, Weber State, they are a good team. They are just very similar to their opponents in all their team stats. It's almost not worth going over them because they had a pretty reminiscent game that when they lost to Utah than when they beat Dixie State. So everything's about even for Weber State in terms of scoring and giving up scores and touchdowns and yardage. So they're sitting at about average for themselves, but JMU is starting about as hot as they could start, with getting over 50 points in both 2 games. And they're just suffocating teams on defense. And Weber State's definitely going to have a handful. Not to take away from Weber State, they are a strong team. And since Joe and I started doing this show a couple years ago, they were one of the premier teams when we're not even reaching around, but still learning more about the FCS landscape. Weber State was definitely one of those teams where you're like, oh, we should definitely keep an eye on this team because they're putting up a lot of points. They're not giving up a lot. So they are, between JMU and Weber State, since we've been covering them, pretty similar in the way that they play, pretty similar in the way that they handle tough opponents. So it's going to be a heavyweight boxing match is what I would consider this game.
I don't mean to laugh, but that was easily the longest spurt you've gone on this show before. That was 4 minutes.
Oh, I'm sorry. Is that a bad thing?
No, it's not. You've never talked consistently that long before.
Did you want to interject at one point? If you wanted to, just say, "Hey, Sean, shut up, fatty," and then I would have shut up. Go ahead.
There was all great information. I was just like, is he still going? Because you've never gone that long before.
Hey, you know what? Go ahead. You go now. You go now. I got it.
Unless
when I want to interject,
the show can make a point on how long, if Sean's gone longer than that before. That was easily the longest you've talked.
Hey, screw you! I'm providing good information.
I'm not giving you a hard time. I was just not expecting that much information.
If you wanted to speak, you know the words. Shut up, fatty. It's my turn.
Sorry, I don't mean to be a dick. But yes, no, that's all really good points.
Nice cheap microphone, loser.
Okay, just because I have the $100 cheaper mic. Nice quality lighting.
You know what? You make up for it with your $500 eyeglasses. If you people knew how much Joe DeLeone bought those eyeglasses for.
No. My eye insurance paid for most of this.
Okay, what?
They were only like $100. They were only like $100.
As someone, I don't have 20/20 vision. I should be wearing glasses, but I don't. What is eye insurance?
If you have optical insurance, you don't have optical insurance that pays for eye exams, and you 100% do. But so my optical insurance, because
I don't know what I have. I'm on my mom's insurance until I'm 25.
So do I. So am I. But because I have poor eyesight, it's a part of the plan where they pay for, I think, like up to $250 for the glasses, and like there was a decent pair, and I was like, oh, these are nicer. I'll just pay the extra $100 for a nicer pair because I'm going to wear them every.
If you need your eyes insured, it's a miracle that you're able to drive safely on the roads.
You have optical insurance. Have you been to an eye doctor before?
I did. And I think I flubbed the test because I was too scared of the air test when they shot air in your eyeballs. I was flinching all the time.
When was the last time you went to I can just see that. They're just trying to hold your big ass head down.
They're like, okay, stay still. It's going to come. And I'm like, okay. And then I heard the, and I blinked immediately.
When was the last time you went to an eye doctor?
I think 9th grade.
What?
Yeah. I've got I think I have about 100 pairs of unused contacts sitting in my house. It might have been thrown out by now.
You're almost as bad as how long I've gone since going to a dentist.
Oh yeah, you're on a freaking Ted. Who was it? Ted Williams has the hit streak.
Yeah,
or is that? I don't know who that. I should know who that is. Who has the hits? We don't move along until I figure this out.
Oh my god. Are we just supposed to sit here and wait for you to figure it out? Look it up. I'm not waiting for you to figure it out. Sean, you made a really good point though, talking about the stats.
DiMaggio, 56 games. I stink.
Nice.
Of course it's not Ted Williams. I know Ted Williams batted like 400 lifetime, and everyone's like, oh, he's the best hitter of all time. Do it 56 games in a row, loser. DiMaggio.
You made a really good point with these stats, though. I wanted to say on the note that
during my 4-minute ramblings.
Yeah, it wasn't a rambling. It was just you've never spoken that long before on the show before.
Hey, I'm a professional. Sometimes I can act like
it. We know more, I think, about this JMU team, and as simple as it is to say, is that JMU's just smacking dudes. They're the team that we know that they already are. Where if you're just like hovering around average, they're going to blow you out of the water like they did with Maine. And Maine's not very good this season, and they pretty much exposed them for that, and they proved how dominant they are. We don't really know how good Weber State is. Like, you could kind of tell that Weber State, tough matchup against Utah. They played them close a little bit in the beginning, and then it got away from them. Dixie State, they're probably going to half-ass the hell out of that game. They're not like Presbyterian where they need 17 different guys to get carries just for the hell of it. But we need to kind of figure that out with this. We need to kind of figure out if this Weber State team can play alongside this JMU team. And considering how well they looked against Utah until it got away from them, I would argue that this is going to be a pretty close-fought battle. Utah is one of the better Pac-12 teams, so this is going to be a really important game, I think, for both these team seasons. It's kind of like, in my eyes, the Clemson-Georgia game, where both of these teams don't really play each other based on location. But because they're playing at the beginning of the season, it has a huge impact on the winner. Basically is going to establish that they deserve to be the first overall team or in consideration for it. And then the other is basically going to have to stay perfect to potentially make the playoff.
Here's something for you, Joe. It's at Weber.
Yeah, that's interesting.
That's not fun. It's not fun getting in a flight that long, especially as no lineman. It's not fun. That takes toll. It's going to be closer than I think we think it's going to be. That is not fun in one bit.
No. It is going to be a very, very fun game, and a lot of the things that come into this. The big storyline that I just want to focus on here, I don't know what to expect from the running backs because Percy Obase has been apparently dealing with a hamstring injury, which they haven't freaking needed him in either of these two games. And then on the other hand, Josh Davis hasn't really gotten a lot of touches. And I was combing through and trying to see if there was anything on Josh Davis maybe having an injury. I couldn't find anything. I'm sure we'll get tagged by somebody that's going to say, because our fans are fantastic and they always tell us the information that we miss. I don't know if the deal is with these guys, because if both of them are out there, this is going to be a really run-oriented game, and basically whoever runs the ball the most effectively is going to win.
I mean, every time we've watched a Weber State game, there's always an 80-yard touchdown rushing at home. And also, speaking of fans reaching out, we would like to shout out at Turtle Ghostly for 2 weeks in a row, giving us the game week information for Montana State.
I'm so confused, but I love it.
We asked for it. I think I was ranting about couldn't find any feeds or radio feeds. That's what I was ranting. I couldn't find any radio feeds. You know what? I appreciate the listener interaction. And we've got, over the last, since the start of the season, we've got a lot of new listeners that have been tuning in, which is great. But feel free to definitely tune in and hit me and Joe up on social media. It's Joe's Twitter is at Joe DeLeone. My Twitter is at Sanderson Radio. I like talking FCS football on the timeline. There are a few professionals that follow me. I want them to think that not all of my tweets are about stupid things. So when you guys tweet us, it makes us feel good and then also present ourselves well as something respectable. What was I going to say, Joe? I know we're going to get to this game in FC estimates, correct? So I don't know. Do we want to give out predictions yet? Or do we want to keep going over it?
No,
Did you have something?
What?
I was saying if you had anything about Weber State and a couple of their key players.
Well, I mean, there's nothing crucial there. I think Bronson Barron is
Great name.
Yeah, fantastic name. Also, Connor Mortensen, another good name. It's a football name there. Best linebacker, best defensive player that they've had so far this season. And then Bronson Barron, I think we've kind of seen this trend in the past of winning in despite of quarterbacks for Weber State. So, Bronson Barron's going to need to step up in this game. They're going to be facing a really talented pass rush, a very talented defensive line. They can't solely rely on their run game in this one. So, Bronson is going to need to make some plays. And, Cole Johnson's been there for 20 years, so he's a seasoned vet, and he knows how to lead his JMU squad.
I think brace yourself. I think Bronson Barron was a part of the Gamma Mu Mu fraternity in an extremely goofy movie. He was one of Bradley Uppercrust III's henchmen.
What? What? Thanks for that.
That's as soon as I heard Bronson Barron, I thought, cool name, but that's got to be from an extremely goofy movie, which is a cartoon for all of our grown men listeners. I know we have listeners of the show that are like mechanics and engineers and have real jobs. So yeah, I'm a college football player that likes watching cartoon movies, and I work at a radio.
Did you just typecast our listenership? You know what, guys?
So I'm a loser. I'm sorry for all those that went over your head.
Regardless,
I think we have some teachers too.
Listeners this week, this is the call to action for the week. Tag us at Joe DeLeone at Sanderson Radio, and also comment on the YouTube video. I want you to tell us what you do for a living. I think that'd be fun.
Or you could just maybe take a picture of you listening at your job instead of being instead of giving up personal private information, and we can make educated
tell us your
guesses.
Social security number as well. No, I like that idea, Sean. We'll get a couple. Hopefully, we get a couple. We've been getting more.
What the hell could Colin Suttrick do? I know you guys have been listening to us, and we keep on mentioning this name, and you're probably
He's
as
a
confused.
Politician.
Is he really?
I don't know. It's something political that he does. I forget. He's told us a million times.
What?
I think Colin's going to come in swinging, and then we got good old Nick Massaroni, who's a trumpeter. What's the word?
Caterer?
Trumpeter caterer.
All the foods are served within brass instruments.
Yes.
Champagne flutes are actually served in flutes. Or whatever. Champagne.
Sean, let's do FC estimates so you can go to bed.
Please, yeah. God, I'm a tired lad.
Speaking of picking games, I can tell by how focused you are this show. Speaking of picking games, make sure you join in on the fun with PlayActionPools.com.
Hey, cock off.
Season.
You're in a read. I went on a 4-minute tear, all right?
You'll be able to get in on the action
You stink.
with our PlayActionPools.com Football Pick'em Challenge, which is open to everyone. Sign up today for a contest, Believe Football Pick'em at PlayActionPools.com, and then get your picks in every single week. We're going to select the 10 highest profile games of the week between the NFL and college football. Whoever gets the most picks correct each week will receive a pair of electric sunglasses and a pair of DC shoes. Again, go to PlayActionPools.com and sign up for the contest, Believe, BLEAV, Football Pick'em. And if you plan on hosting your own football contest, go to the PlayActionPools.com today. They've got Survivor, Pick'em, as well as a cool sportsbook style concept called Build Your Bankroll. PlayActionPools.com, your new home for all of your office sports pools. Whichever intern is doing this show, text me. I want to know who did it. Praying for you and trying to listen through my stumblings. Sean, FC estimates, you know the drill. You suck. I'm up 2 on you. All right, here's the full recap. So we had a really exciting week. It was a tight week. I was nearly perfect. I had 9 correct picks. The only incorrect one I had was the where is it? was we both incorrectly picked the Citadel. Thanks, FCS Nation Radio guys. That's on you.
You saw they were congratulating the other team for a hard-fought win.
Oh,
We're
come
losing points here.
on.
They're too nice. They're too nice. We're jaded. We're not. I
Yeah.
don't know. They're nice
We're very
people.
jaded. We're very jaded. Sean got 7, so that puts the current standings: me 17 for 22, Sean 15 for 22. If you're playing along at home, I don't know how many points you have, but I'm up by 2. Sean has to do some catching
I'm
up.
22 for 22. You guys stink.
Someone's going to tweet at us then. All right, Sean, first game, Richmond-Villanova. Who are you picking?
Give me Villanova.
Yeah, give me the boys at Villanova. They are stopping teams this year. I know Richmond looks good, but, man, they are popping off this season. JMU Weber State, who are you picking?
I'll take JMU.
Yeah, we know enough about JMU. I think that one's it's underrated but obvious that you should be picking JMU. Kennesaw, Wofford.
Give me Wofford. Kennesaw State boys. I don't know. Sean Blythe has been ghosting me for whatever reason. Thought we were cool. No. You know what? Yeah, Wofford.
I'm going to ride with my boys. I'm picking Kennesaw. Give me the Owls over Wofford. I know they've played like crap the last 2 weeks, but they're going to bounce back this week. Dayton, Southern Illinois.
I hope they do. Southern Illinois.
Yeah, I don't like this bit where Sean picks all the same outcomes as me. I'm also going with
first every week.
The Salukis. That's not true. I also pick the Salukis for this. Dayton's not very good. Southern Illinois, on the other hand, played very, very close in their game this week against, oh my God, I forget which FBS team they played, but they played very close. Georgetown, Harvard. That's going to be a real barn burner.
Georgetown won last week. That's why I put it in. Harvard.
Give me Harvard.
Harvard has been practicing for 2 straight years. And I know their offensive line coach and their run coordinator, their offensive line is going to have footwork down to a T, and if they don't, there's going to be hell to pay. So, Kennedy's got them locked down, right, Joe? Can you imagine having 2 years straight of practice
with Coach Kennedy?
Yes,
they're probably the most toned offensive line.
Oh my God!
In the Ivy League.
Can you imagine they are chomping at the bit to go play a game. Excited for them. I'll take Harvard.
Presbyterian Campbell.
They've been interesting, Joe.
I'm not, but who have they beat? Go ahead.
I don't know. 16 touchdowns in 2 games for Heffley.
Against to be determined and St. Andrews School for the Blind.
Give me the press. Cover 2 Presbyterian. I'll take Presbyterian. Yes.
Okay. You're
Joe's going to be taking the school with the animal that can travel longest in the desert without needing rehydration.
Yes, the camels, the Campbell Camels.
Stupidest name of all time.
Very dumb mascot, but as dumb as the Blue Hose. Again, seriously, they haven't beaten anyone. If they beat Campbell, I will buy in. But cool, you put up all those yards and points. You gave a bunch of slappy freshmen and some linebackers and defensive linemen some carries.
I don't see why you're
I'm not bought in. I'm not bought it.
No one needs you to.
All right, Morehead State at Austin Peay.
If you can't go to college, you go to P. Unless you're Vito Priori. Got love for Vito. He had a birthday this week. Morehead.
Morehead might be one of the worst FCS programs in the country. But
upset time, Morehead.
Them.
I don't pick P.
They looked great against JMU in week 1. I'll take the easy
Your
win.
face looks great in those glasses. It doesn't look like your cheeks don't look fat at all.
You're the one who picked this game to be a part of it, yet you can't.
You look like you're keeping your hair really well also.
I am. It's very grown out. I'll show it to you later. I'm picking Austin Peay. William & Mary Colgate.
Colgate has burned me every single effing time I've picked them. There hasn't been a time, Joe, where I've picked Colgate and they've won. William & Mary, and they're going to win this, and Colgate's going to win this game, but you picked William & Mary too, so I'll take the push.
I also
hate Colgate.
Don't think that I honestly don't think that
what
this Colgate team's very good. So I'm going to pick William & Mary as well. Hampton at Howard.
I'm taking Howard. I know they got the doors blown off last week, but I'm going with Howard.
Pray for them. Yeah, they were playing Maryland, so how much can you really get upset at that? I'm going to take Hampton though in this one. I'm not a big fan of Howard right now. No, they've had a bit of a drop off since they lost their dynamic duo of Jaquez Ezzard and Kalen Newton. San Diego at Montana State.
This is for the boy Ghost Kitchen or whatever his name was. Montana State.
What? The dude who tweeted at us. Yeah. I'm gonna pick Montana State.
Turtle Ghostly.
You said
Zero
Kitchen?
Followers.
Someone go follow him. Go follow him. Everybody go follow him.
Can't do that. You know, if you want to know when Montana State's playing, follow at Turtle Ghostly.
And where to tune in? He's great at it. Absolutely great at it. He has done more, he has provided us with more notes than anybody else has.
Ghostly Turtle, because I took an unnecessary shot. There's a follow.
You followed him.
First follower, Joe. Go follow Ghostly Turtle. Ghostly.
Maybe.
What do you mean maybe? Well, now I can't take it back.
No, I'll go follow him.
You do it right now. If I don't see that two pop up.
You're a bit generous because he tagged me in the first one and not you the first time.
Yeah, I don't know what the hell that was. We give out both of our Twitters every single time. I'm not abrasive on Twitter. I think I'm very nice to the listeners.
Does he think I was talking to myself the whole show, or
are you muting me? Am I getting muted on the podcast? Where
yeah,
it's like
it's just straight mute. Nobody hears from you the entire show.
It doesn't seem like it,
or it does seem like it.
Whatever. Maybe folks, it does. I don't know.
That's gonna be it from us on today's episode. Thank you for tuning in at Joe DeLeone, at Sanderson Radio, at Believe Podcast. Subscribe. 5-star review.
Hey, let's get people pumped up for week 2. Let's go. More FCS football. Week 3. More FCS football coming at you.